This tutorial is about simple sentences and fragments. A simple sentence is a group of words that expresses a complete thought and has one subject and one verb. A simple sentence is also known as an independent clause, meaning it stands alone and expresses a complete thought. Simple sentences can be short, but they can be lengthy if they have compound subjects, verbs, prepositional phrases, and adjectives and adverbs. However, a simple sentence will not contain a dependent clause, which is a group of words that begins with a subordinating conjunction and is followed by a subject and verb. When you read it, it does not express a complete thought, so it is not a sentence that can stand alone. Let's look at examples of simple sentences that range in length. When sentences are short, it can be easy to tell that they are simple. They might only have a couple of words, a subject and a verb. Here's an example. The football team practiced. Team is the subject and practiced is the verb. But there may be longer simple sentences with adjectives, adverbs, and prepositional phrases. You can take away the extra words and your sentence will still make sense. Today after school, the football team and I practiced for the big championship game. If I remove the adverb and prepositional phrases and adjectives, I am left with the subjects team and I, as well as the verb practiced. In this example, there's a compound subject, team and I, and just one verb, but is still a simple sentence. Here's another example. During the game, one of the players caught the ball and ran for a touchdown. When I remove the three prepositional phrases, this sentence has a simple subject, one, with a compound verb, caught and ran. The following are not simple sentences. Here's the first example. After they practiced for several weeks, the football coach felt confident about the team's performance. This is not a simple sentence since there's a subordinating conjunction followed by a subject and verb creating a dependent clause. When added to an independent clause, it creates a complex sentence. Here's another example. The football team practiced daily and the coaches felt they were finally ready for the season. This is not a simple sentence because two independent clauses joined by and creates a compound sentence. Now that we've talked about simple sentences, let's look at fragments. When a group of words looks like a sentence but does not express a complete thought, it is called a sentence fragment. Sentence fragments never have independent clauses, but instead are dependent clauses or phrases. Fragments can appear as real sentences because they begin with a capital letter and end with a period. Here are some examples. From Monday until Friday. This is just a phrase that is missing a subject and a verb. You can correct it by adding a subject and verb. The team practiced from Monday until Friday. Another example. When the game was over. This is an example of a dependent clause that is missing an independent clause. You can correct it by adding an independent clause to the front or back. We all went home when the game was over. Or, when the game was over, we all went home. Here's another example. Some boys on the team. This is an example of a complete subject. If you notice, you have the sentence pattern S plus PP. It's missing a verb, so you can correct it by adding a verb. Some boys on the team received injuries. And finally, practiced after school. This is an example of a missing subject. You can correct it by adding a subject. The team practiced after school. For a review, know the types of fragments. All phrases, dependent clauses, and sentences missing a subject or a predicate are fragments. Know how to revise fragments by adding the necessary parts to create a complete thought. And lastly, it's good to know your subordinating conjunctions to help you identify dependent clauses.